Hello, everyone. My name is Chaiwat Kowavisarat. I'm a CEO and President of BANGCHAK Corporation, which is a listed company in Thailand. I probably today will make some introductions about BANGCHAK Corporation as a company, which is basically give a bit of background about BANGCHAK and what we are doing at the moment, and also what we plan to do in the very near futures. Let me first go into the structures of BANGCHAK corporations. At the moment, BANGCHAK is a listed company in Thai Stock Exchange, SET, under tickers BCP. We basically some 25% owned by Ministry of Finance, where directly own about 10%, and through its investment vehicles, value park funds, another 15% thereabout. Also, some 14% being owned by Social Security's office. The rest, about some 62% are general public. At the moment, we have 5 different businesses. The first one is refineries and trading business, where we own 120 KBDs or 120,000 barrels per day productions refineries based out of suburb of Bangkok. Under the same unit, we also have a trading arms in Singapore. The other business is marketing business, where we own some 1,150 service stations across nations, and we also have our own coffee shop brand called Internin, as well as we have a master license of Spar, which is a Dutch marketing chain, convenient chains, if you like. Other than that, we have a subsidiary listed on the stock exchange called BCPG, where it pretty much focus on green power plant, and the like of solar farms, wind farms, and geothermals across the regions. They have presence in Japan, they have presence in Philippines, presence in Indonesia, apart from Thailand. The to be listed subsidiary of ours, BBGI, is a newly set up entities where we amalgamate our biofuels entities with subsidiaries of Khon Sugars, which is one of Thailand's largest sugar mills in Thailand. We formed this BBGI as a sort of a platform for bio-based product. At the moment, the combined production capacities of BBGI will make it Thailand's largest biofuel producers, where it can produce up to almost 2 million liters a year. And the last one is what we call natural resources, where we have exposures in lithium mining in Argentina, as well as upstream E&P, petroleum E&Ps in Norway. So that will sum up the 5 businesses we have at the moment. Well, we've been growing significantly. As you can see that for the past 4 years, the EBITDA of companies almost double, and we have a much more balanced portfolios compared to what we have in the past, where it's pretty much a refineries and marketing play. Right now we have green energies and bio-based product. We're looking to diversify more of our portfolio. So that is a snapshot of the company's performance over the past 5 years, and also the first 9 months of this year. You will see that we are making good progress there. A dip in 2014 is when the crude oil price dropped significantly from more than $100 a barrel to probably less than $50 a barrel, and that actually have a big hit in our balance sheet. Even that, we still managed to be above the waters, which is quite an achievement. Here's the production profile of our refineries, which you can see that we probably need to have a total shutdown as preventive maintenance, where we call TAM, turnaround maintenance every other year. So in each of that 10 years, that you can see that the average production will actually be brought down quite significantly. But even that, you can see that we actually growing quite significantly. Basically from say in 2012, where in the 10 years we only on average producing 74 KBDs, and it jumped to 86, which is about 16% increase. And 2016 it go beyond 100 KBDs, which is another 17% jump. We hope that we make a good progress this year as well. The core GIM, which is in the blue stripe at the bottom graph, is also rather reasonable. The green bit and the orange bit, basically, the gain and loss from oil hedging, as well as inventory gain and loss, where we, by law, need to keep some 5% of production as legal reserve, and therefore that reserve actually impact our inventory gain and loss. To the right, boxes, you can see those are the product yield of ours. We have a hydrocrackers, and therefore we would probably have more diesels in our end product. On average, middle distillate account for something like more than 65% of our product, and the gasoline component is something just below 20%. We have over the last couple of years introduced a new product to the market we call UCO, unconverted oil, which is basically a sort of a premium base for engine oil. The last box to the bottom right is the mix of our crude. Basically we will probably have some 70% of the crude imported from the regions, mostly in the Far East regions, and 30% of crude are basically locally sourced. So that is a brief pictures of our refinery business. We in the process of debottlenecking that should be done by 2020, and after that we should be able to produce more than 130 KBDs, which is something like another 15% improve in our sort of a rated capacity at the moment. Also, to the oil trading business, as I mentioned, that we have a small office in Singapore, and we are making very good progress there. You can see that it's been growing exponentially, and we see that it can be easily go up 3x from the years that we first opened in 2017, where the whole years we trade about 6 million barrels. We're seeing that will be 35 million barrels in next year, which is something like sixfold. Get to the second business of ours, which is marketing business. And you can see that we've been getting toward a high margin product, like in oil, where the big chunk of it, more than 54%, actually derived from our retail stations, where only a quarter of it come from industrial player. We trade a little bit to the jobbers, and we export some 12% of our product, which is UCO, the new product that we just sort of first invented here, as well as fuel oil that we export. So, but for all other product, mostly we have them sold in Thailand. And the marketing margin, we have maintained it in a rather reasonable range of about 70 cents per liter. And better yet, we also been gaining momentums in terms of market shares. Some 5 years ago, you can see that our market shares well below 14%. Right now, our market share is very close to 17%. Which is a very big improvement in terms of sharing of the market, and that has all been improved to the service station throughput, where from way below the market right now, our throughput is actually above industrial average. The service stations, we have, as I mentioned, at the moment about 1150 stations, and we plan to add another 330 stations in next 5 years, and that will make us that probably have more what we call standard service stations, have more numbers of standard service stations than what we call cooperative service station, which is a service station that have been owned by agricultural cooperative. To the bottom, you can see there, we have other non-oil product on offer as well. We have a lubricant, which is also gaining momentum under the brand of Furio. We have non-oil products through a company called BCR, where they own 2 major brands, Internet Coffee as well as Spa convenience store. We also a big player in the jet fuels market. To your right, you can see that we have a big improvement in our NPS score, and that's explained why we've been gaining market shares. So you were to normalize the integrated margins, considering the GRM's core GRM along with the net marketing margins. The integrated margin of our product will basically fall in the double digit in terms of dollar per barrel, which is very sensible. BCPGs are listed subsidiaries of ours. At the moment, they have built capacity for up to 340 megawatt AC, and the plan is that there will be one of the largest green play in this market that presents in, apart from Thailand, Japan, in Japan, the Philippines, and Indonesia. And the mix of that portfolio is very interesting, where probably half of their production capacity come from solar, and the other half come from geothermals, and they're in the process to build more capacities in terms of wind. So that will be a very, very green play, and they're working a lot, to go into the smart grid business, and as well as a trading platform. They have set up the first of its kind, where a neighborhood can trade their electricity to the neighborhood, and the pilot project is first of its kind in Thailand and probably in the region as well. BBGI, as mentioned, that is amalgamations of 2 biofuel operations. One's under BANGCHAK and the other one's under Khon Kaen Sugars. After the amalgamations, BANGCHAK owns 60% of the companies and 40% belong to KSL, which is another listed companies in the stock exchange. And we have facilities across Thailand. And I think, as we said, that we probably have the best mix of feed, and also we have probably the biggest capacities when you combine the bioethanols and biofuel together. It's probably more like something like 2 milliliters a day. And BBGI will probably be listed on the stock exchange by next year. And the proceeds from the listing will basically be earmarked for future bio-based product, being biochemicals, bioplastic, and biomaterials. We have also, have exposures in upstream. We first invested in Nido Petroleum, which is a company in Philippines, in a process of divesting it, and we believe that should be completed by first quarter next year, 2019. And also, as we speak, we are closing our transactions with Okia. Okia is a Norway companies where they, together with use our fund and Seacrest, they have acquired a big chunk of the asset in Draugen. Draugen is one of very big oil fields in North Sea, Norway, that been divested from Shell, and the process should basically be completed by this year. We also own, a company shares in a company called ETA Americas, where they have exposures in Argentina called Mineral Exa, probably one of the best lithium resources in the world, and they're in the process of starting up that companies. We believe that it will come to productions by 2020s. In that investment, we partner with one of the world's largest lithium producers, Ganfeng Lithium. We also have a CVC companies where we sponsor plug and plays in Silicon Valley, and we will basically use this as a platform for the futures of our business, so we can be well prepared for any disruptive force that might come across. Basically, we will focus more on the energy storage, the bio-based product, as well as the new mobilities. That will be our core focus, although there are some other things that we will probably go after as well. So in summary, BANGCHAK is a complex refinery with ongoing efficiency and capacity enhancement. We believe that we should be in the sort of first quartile in terms of refinery operations pretty soon. Also, we as I mentioned, that we are making very good progress in terms of marketing of our oil in Thailand. We are a firm number 2 in terms of market share, and we are actually gaining the momentum of gaining more shares as we speak. We also have a diverse portfolios of our business through our subsidiaries, being BCPGs, BBGIs, and OKS, and LAC. And I guess having said all that, I think we still have very, very healthy balance sheet, and we have a very strong credit ratings. Trish rating just affirmed a single A rating for BANGCHAK, and that's 3 years in a row right now. And we have very strong core teams. The management has been with the company for a very long time, and we are making very good progress there. We also, through the merger acquisitions, we acquire quite a few good talent management to join the team. Now come to the major part for the shareholders, which is the dividend. We normally been seen as a dividend play. We pay pretty good dividends. The payout ratio is anywhere from 40 to about 60%, except for the years where the oil price dropped significantly. That's what this year that we pay a bit above 100%, because the cash flow is very good in that year, so we decided to pay a little bit more. But otherwise, the payout should be somewhere in between 40 to 60%, and the yield, as you can see at the bottom, that fall somewhere in the region of 4 to 6%. I guess that probably sum up my sort of brief discussions about BANGCHAK as a company. If you were to need further detailed analysis or detailed discussion, please feel free to contact our IRs. It can be reached to ir@bangchak, BANGCHAK.co.th, or you can call the numbers which is on this page, plus 662 235 8663. Thank you. Right. There are questions. The first question is, what's the dividend policies and any potential to increase the payout? I believe that, as I mentioned in my last page, that the payout is somewhere in the region of 40 to 60%. I guess obviously we wanted to look after all our shareholders, and I believe that cash dividend is probably among the best thing. We always pay cash dividend. At the same time, as you can see, that we are growing the companies. For the past 4 years, company has grown, has doubled, and we're looking to do the same for the next 4 years as well. So to grow the companies, meaning that we need some cash flow to reserve for the investments, and therefore we will make absolutely sure that all the shareholders are benefit from the program that we are doing, paying out cash and also reserve cash for the future growth. Please update about listing of BBGI on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. I guess that the filing is done, is approved. I think the listing process is also approved. We still working on a right window to have the company listed. I guess we are in a very volatile market conditions at the moment. We want to see some stabilities in terms of the market environment before we make a final call. But that being said, we believe that the listing should be done and completed by next year. We will try to see if we can do that by the first half of the year. If market stabilize first, we do that first. But otherwise, we still aim to list BBGI, by next year. What is the capex set aside for respective business segment, break-evens and payback period? I guess basically, for the next 5 years, I think we earmark something like 77 billion baht for the future investments, where I believe that about 30% is actually going to refineries. We are, as I said, upgrading the refineries and debottlenecking it. The project had started from beginning of this year, probably more like in May, and it will take about 2 years to complete it. So that will basically gradually use up some cash that we have for the refinery. The marketing business will probably invest something closer to 7 or 8 billion for the next 4 to 5 years. I guess that's mainly for the expansions of the asset across Thailand. Although we will going forward focus more on the dealer-owned type of service stations. BCPGs, they have earmarked something like about 20 billions for their investment into the next 4 to 5 years. That mostly for their solar farms in Japan, and also some other investment that they've been looking after. BBGI, that will basically be another 3 to 4 billion baht of investment in the next 4 to 5 years time. For natural resources, I guess apart from the investment we already made, the rest will basically be self-fund. They have cash flow to reinvest those money into new developments. But in terms of numbers, that's another 10 billion for them to be reinvested in that area. So collectively, that'll be about 7 to 8 billion baht of investment for the next 4 to 5 years time. Do you have a plan to raise fund? Oil price outlook? I guess it's definitely yes. We have a plan to raise fund, and that's why we've been, spinning off our subsidiaries. I guess we definitely growing the companies, and at the same time we try to look after the benefit of the shareholders. So we try to keep the amount of share issues as it is as much as possible. So for all the new investments, it basically fund from either internal cash flow, and also we can also do some borrowing as well. What I didn't present here is the gearing ratios. Actually, over the past 4 years, our gearing ratio, on standalone basis, actually be brought down quite significantly. We still have room to borrow. So if anything we need it, we may tap the debt market first. And the last option is that listing of the subsidiaries where they will tap the new funds to fund that growth by not impacting BCP as a parent companies. Within the subsidiary themselves, they also way to manage that cash flow. As you can see recently, when BCPG monetized their investment in Japan, basically by putting up their solar farm operating one into some kind of investment trust or infrastructure fund that we're familiar with in Thailand. That investment trust is actually a very good way of BCPG to recycle the cash, and the combined yield for the investment trust is only 2% for some 20 years tenures of asset. So that's very, very reasonable. That's why we think that is the best way to recycle the cash, and we done that, and that's been announced and reflected in the last quarter's performance of BCPG. Any oil price outlook, right? That's $1 trillion questions. Trillions. Well, I guess nobody can really tell how does it look like. Okay, it went up quite sharply during the course of this year. Starting probably during March, April, and May, where it gone all the way from $55-$60 to $80 and stay there for a very long period of time. I believe that then it dropped so drastically over the course of last 3 weeks, from $80 to about $60, and it's really, really volatile. I don't know anyone can tell that where the oil price will be next year. But I guess we basically put up a range, and that will basically we use that range as a way to do our budgetings for years to come, and the range we believe that it should be somewhere in the region of say 55 to 80s. That'd be a good range. Although we don't see the reasons that the crude oil price will go up to say $100 a barrel. We don't believe that it will stay below $50 long. Okay, it might dip down to below 50, but it won't last long. The fact that running costs of the new supply, as well as for the physical of those major oil producers, you need to see oil above $50 to sustain it. So we believe that the range bound of it should be somewhere in the region of say 50, 55 to about $80. Right. What is that? Huh? Right. Okay. I guess that probably sum up the whole discussion today. And again, if you need more information or want to know more about us, feel absolutely free to contact us, through ir@bangchak.co.th, and the numbers provided there. Thank you very much, ครับ ขอบคุณครับ